And we're joined now by South Carolina Republican Representative William Timmons, a member of the House Financial Services Committee. Representative, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I want to dive into this cryptocurrency thing. Give us some clarity about the Genius Act and why this legislation that helps govern cryptocurrency is so important.
So the future of the global economy is in digital assets. And it's critical that the U.S. is the center of the global economy, as it's always been for the last 100+ years. So there's two pieces of this: stablecoin and market structure. So stablecoin was just signed into law. That's the Genius Act. The next is Clarity, which we just passed out of the House. Both of these bills basically just make sure that the rules of the road are there. The consumer protections, the legal framework are there to allow these businesses to make the U.S. economy their home. The future of the U.S. economy and the global economy is digital assets and innovation and blockchain technology. And we got to make sure that the U.S. is the center of that.
I want to talk about some criticism on the other side. The ranking member of the Financial Service Committee, Maxine Waters, was a staunch critic of this bipartisan legislation. She actually sounded the alarm in an op-ed saying the bill will, quote, open the floodgates to massive fraud and financial ruin for American families. Your response to that?
The ranking member doesn't understand how the internet works. She doesn't understand how digital assets work. She doesn't understand how any of the technology that she's talking about works. She literally just has no idea what she's talking about. But this is the thing. This has been a bipartisan effort. Overwhelmingly, the Genius Act had over 100 Democrats support it. The Clarity Act had more than that. So, I mean, this is not a partisan endeavor. The ranking member she's just wrong.
I do want to switch gears to Jeffrey Epstein. The president has suggested there is no, quote, smoking gun in the Jeffrey Epstein files, but should the DOJ release the complete files as originally promised?
I don't understand this issue. I mean, I was a prosecutor for 5 years. I think that transparency is best. I guess the president and the Department of Justice have said they're going to release all of the documents relative to the indictment. I just think that the American people deserve to know the truth, and whatever that is and however that goes is what I think should happen. But I trust the president, I trust the attorney general, and I think this is all going to work itself out.
My last question for you. You represent part of South Carolina that includes Greenville and Spartanburg. About 20% of your district, that's more than 1 million people, rely on Medicaid. What have you heard from your constituents about the Medicaid cuts in the budget bill that passed earlier this month? What are they telling you? And then how do you reassure them if they're worried about losing coverage?
So the biggest issue with the Medicaid cuts, as the Democrats phrase it, which is not really true, is that 5.5 million people are going to have to either work 20 hours a week or volunteer 20 hours a week in order to continue to maintain government subsidized health care. So again, this only affects able-bodied adults that have no children. So it's a red herring. It's not real. If you are getting free government health care because you are not making enough money, you need to pull your weight. And if you can't get a job for 20 hours a week, you can volunteer for 20 hours a week. This isn't that hard. So like 85% of the country agrees that if you are getting free government health care and you are able-bodied and you have no dependents, that you should work 20 hours a week. This is not a big deal. So I don't think that this is a real issue. It's a partisan issue. It's Democrats trying to say whatever the Republicans do is bad, and it's not real.
Well, you just used the term able-bodied people, and I just want to point out some data that shows that many of the people that you described, about 65%, actually do work. They work low-wage jobs, just not ones that pay or have benefits or health care. I'm curious, or they're either caretaking or taking care of themselves because they are ill. I want you to answer the question, how do you make sure that they don't fall through the cracks here? And I think that's what constituents want to know.
All they have to do is they have to report that they're working. All they have to do is they have to report that they're working. It's very simple. And again, the 5 million people that are not currently reporting that they're working, all they have to do is report that they're working. And if they're not working, they can get a job. And if they're not going to get a job, they can volunteer. But 20 hours a week is a side job for many people. So I'm not asking a lot. But we have $37 trillion in debt. We got a $2 trillion annual deficit. You got to pull your weight if you want to get free healthcare. This isn't hard, and it's an 85% of the American people agree that if you're going to get free benefits and you're capable of contributing, you need to contribute.
All right, Congressman Timmons, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.